Welcome to a chilling tale from my own experience. Tonight, I invite you to immerse yourself in a story of terror and suspense. This is not just any story, it's a journey through darkness that I lived firsthand. As you delve into this narrative, brace yourself for an unsettling adventure where reality blurs with nightmares. So, dim the lights and prepare for a haunting experience as I recount the tale of the cursed warehouse. I work in an old warehouse that has seen better days. It's a place filled with ancient, dusty crates and forgotten relics. For years, it has been my daily routine to manage the stock and ensure everything is in order. Little did I know, my mundane job was about to plunge me into a world of darkness and terror. It all started one ordinary evening. The warehouse had always been unsettling, with its creaky floors and eerie silence. But that night, something felt different. I was sorting through some old boxes when I stumbled upon a crate marked with strange symbols. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to investigate further. Inside the crate were peculiar items, old books bound in leather, tarnished jewelry, and oddly shaped artifacts. The moment I touched one of the objects, a cold shiver ran down my spine. I brushed it off as a mere chill, but that was the beginning of something far more sinister. As days passed, the atmosphere in the warehouse grew increasingly oppressive. I began to experience unexplainable phenomena. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and whispers echoed through the empty aisles. Objects would shift or disappear, only to reappear in places they shouldn't be. The more I interacted with the items from that crate, the more intense these occurrences became. It wasn't just the physical disturbances that troubled me. My mind began to unravel. I started having vivid nightmares, each more terrifying than the last. I saw visions of people from different eras, all suffering under some dark curse. They reached out to me, their faces twisted in agony. The lines between dream and reality blurred, leaving me disoriented and fearful. My colleagues noticed a change in me. I became withdrawn and anxious. They whispered about strange happenings in the warehouse, but I couldn't bring myself to share what I was experiencing. The items from that crate seemed to be feeding off my fear, growing more malevolent with each passing day. Desperation drove me to research the origins of these artifacts. I uncovered disturbing information about their history. Each item was linked to dark rituals and tragic events. It became clear that these objects were cursed, each one carrying its own brand of malevolence. One night, as I was alone in the warehouse, the full force of the curse was unleashed. The air grew cold, and the lights flickered ominously. Shadows swirled around me, and the whispers became deafening. I felt as though I was being pulled into another realm, a place where the damned souls of those connected to the artifacts roamed. My mind shattered under the weight of the curse. I could no longer distinguish between reality and the horrors that haunted me. The warehouse, once a place of routine, had become a nightmarish labyrinth. The artifacts were no longer just objects. They had become entities with a will of their own, tormenting me endlessly. To this day, I am haunted by the memories of those cursed items. The warehouse stands as a grim reminder of my ordeal, a place where evil lurks in every shadow. I live with the knowledge that the darkness I faced was not just a figment of my imagination, but a real, malevolent force that continues to exist. As time went on, my attempts to escape the grip of the curse proved futile. The warehouse, once a seemingly benign place, had become a prison of terror. The artifacts, each now a sentient embodiment of evil, continued to torment me with increasing intensity. Every night, I was plagued by the sounds of ghostly wails and the sight of shadowy figures reaching out from the dark corners. One evening, as I sat in the dim light of the office, struggling to maintain my grip on reality, I received an unexpected visit. A stranger, dressed in dark, old-fashioned clothing, appeared at the warehouse entrance. His eyes seemed to pierce through the very fabric of my being. He claimed to be an expert in cursed objects, someone who had dealt with similar cases before. Desperate for relief, I welcomed him into the warehouse. He conducted a thorough examination of the artifacts, and his face grew grim with each item he examined. Finally, he turned to me with a look of grave concern. "These objects are beyond redemption," he said. "They are bound by ancient curses, each feeding off the fear and suffering of those who come into contact with them. The only way to break the curse is to destroy them, but doing so will unleash their malevolent energy." The thought of destroying the artifacts was both terrifying and tempting. I was afraid of what might happen, but I knew I couldn't continue living in constant fear. With the stranger's guidance, we began the perilous process of destroying the cursed items. We set up a ritual space in the warehouse, surrounded by protective symbols and artifacts designed to contain the energy. As we started the ritual, the warehouse seemed to come alive with anger. The shadows twisted and lashed out, and the whispers grew into a cacophony of rage. The moment we destroyed the first item, a powerful surge of energy exploded, shaking the entire warehouse. The air grew thick with malevolent force, and the lights flickered violently. I could feel the darkness fighting to remain, struggling against the ritual we were performing. Despite the chaos, we persisted. Each item we destroyed released a burst of dark energy, and I could feel the grip of the curse weakening. By the time the last artifact was reduced to ashes, the warehouse fell eerily silent. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, and the shadows that once seemed so alive now lay still. Exhausted and shaken, I thanked the stranger for his help. He had left without a word, disappearing into the night as mysteriously as he had arrived. The warehouse, now free from the curses, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Life slowly returned to normal, but the experience left a lasting mark on me. The warehouse was no longer a place of fear, but a constant reminder of the darkness that had once consumed it. I had survived, but I was forever changed by the horrors I had witnessed. As I look back on my ordeal, I am haunted not just by the memories, but by the knowledge that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. The cursed warehouse stands as a grim reminder of the thin line between the ordinary and the supernatural, and the price one pays when crossing that line.